Seated with me right now is the highly successful young film director and author of such great books as The Andromeda Strain, The Terminal Man, Congo. His latest work, I love. Oh, this answers a lot of questions. Electronic Life. It's a bit of a departure for him, and he's going to explain it for us right now. Would you all greet Michael Crichton? I think once and for all, this will solve all of our questions about something we know an awful lot about from publicity and ads, but we know very little about, called computers. I don't know what they're about, Michael. I've tried fooling with them, and I get so exhausted talking. I just can't read the directions, to tell you the truth. Is that everybody's problem?
I think it is everybody's problem. The reason why I wrote it, actually, is that because I guess I got a machine 4 years ago to do word processing, and then I got an Apple and some other machines, I became an expert to all my friends, and as each of them got a machine, they'd take it home and unpack it and realize they couldn't work it. And then they would call me. So
you became the repairman.
That's right. About the 5th or 6th or 10th or 15th person, I thought, I can't do this anymore. And they all said, well, is there something I can read? And I realized there was nothing to read.
So you
I
wrote the
this
book.
I wrote the simplest book that could ever be done.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there and then, because you just said a phrase, word processor. Everybody wants to say, oh, every author says they are magnificent. Nobody has yet explained to me what is a word processor. Do you talk in a machine and it writes your book?
No, no.
Oh.
A word processor looks like a typewriter, but it has a screen instead of a sheet of paper. And when you type, the words appear on the screen.
Right.
And they are just electrical impulses on the screen, which means that you can move around on the screen and change what you've written, pull blocks of text and put it elsewhere. You have complete freedom. I mean, one of the most amusing things is what I call search and destroy, which is if you have the name of a character in a story and it's Joe and you want to make it Herbert.
For the whole book?
For the whole book, you just say change Joe to Herbert, and it goes through and finds it.
No, For what general areas can we use computers? Or are they only for big corporations and banks? And what can we do with them at home?
I think that there are a number of, well, one answer is, a true answer is, nobody knows what you can do with it at home.
Yes, well, there's the answer you get.
Yeah.
So why get one?
Well,
Aha.
Well, I have to tell you, frankly, that when people say to me, what do I need a computer for, I usually tell them you don't.
Oh.
You know, but I think we're going to start to have them for a number of reasons that are developing but don't really exist now. I mean, to go back a little bit, I should say, if you're in business, and you don't have a computer, you probably are already in trouble.
Right, you need one.
You need,
sure.
You need one for business. For your home, it's not at all clear. I think that it will be increasingly true that it's valuable for education. It's valuable for your kids.
But that is if you tap into another system and can call that information into your machine.
Yes, or if you just have software which is a word I don't like, but if you have programs that you can carry with you physically on floppy disks or on cassettes that you can run on your machine. And there are good programs to teach you foreign languages, to teach you grammar, to teach you mathematics, all kinds of things, and there will be more.
Are we capable now of tapping in from our home to, say, the New York Times reference center where we can pull out information if we want it at home? Say,
yes.
You know,
yes.
Who hit the first home run in baseball?
Yes.
And you wait, and the answer will come.
Yes, that's very easy. And I think that...
Who was it?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I think, actually, I recently got onto the UPI wire service in this way, and I couldn't stop it. It was rolling and rolling, and you're charged by the hour, so I didn't want to just turn my computer off because I thought they'll still be billing me. But yes, absolutely, you can get all kinds of information, very conveniently.
Are they any good at home? For example, suppose you want to do an inventory of your furniture in your house or something, putting all that stuff into it, all kinds of personal things?
Easy.
And that's all easy to call up?
Yeah, wine collections.
Well, then why are the directions so exhausting?
Well, I think that's something that people haven't quite worked out, which is that engineers make the machines, and engineers know how to use them, and it's a characteristic, I think, at least of many engineers, that they don't know what it's like not to be an engineer.
Plus, you have to learn a new language.
Often you have to learn the language.
Give me the lingo, if you can, Michael.
Well, I decided that there's about 50 words that you have to know, and the 50 words are roughly the same kind of vocabulary as you would need to run a stereo. In other words, if you start thinking about a stereo, you need bass, treble, gain, volume, cassette, maybe bias, it goes on and on. And so there's a similar number of words for computers, as well as some tricky ones.
Give me some of the new lingo that have been
Well, my
put into
favorite
our
one
language.
is retrofitting enhancements. Now, you see, if you've
Retrofitting enhancements.
enhancements, yes. If you've gotten your machine at home and somebody calls you up and says, we have a new enhancement which we will retrofit at no charge, which of course you'll do because it's at no charge, it may not occur to you that this enhancement being retrofitted is actually a mistake that's being fixed. I mean, that's the word.
Oh,
an
I
enhancement
see. It's like recalling
to
your
make
car.
That's exactly
Bring
right.
it back in, we'll
That's
replace the tailpipe.
free.
I see. Give me some other lingo.
Boot is another one that
Boot.
Boot your system, boot your disk. When I first started, I thought this meant to kick it across the room.
Right,
It doesn't. It means to stick it in the slot and turn it on.
right. We are also entering what they are calling the age of the computer widow, aren't we?
Yes, we're there.
Are we there?
Oh, yes, we're definitely there.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, nobody I know personally, but I mean, it sounds bizarre. Woody Allen had a movie where he once said that his wife left him for another woman. It now frequently happens that husbands or wives are left for a computer.
Because of
just
the
happens.
novelty of it, they get caught in it?
The machines are very, very compelling. And I don't think it's adequately understood. I think it has to do something with the fact that the machine will talk to you constantly, that it's always interested in what you have to say, that it continuously, I mean, think, who has a spouse?
Better than a marriage.
That's right.
Oh.
Who's always interested in what you have to say? And who, after you talk to it in this very involving way, and you're tired, you flip a switch and turn it off. You can't do that with any spouse that I've ever had.
Right. One other thing. What should you know before you go in to buy a computer? So that you look a little decently intelligent.
I think there's two things that are really important. The first thing is to have some idea of what you want to do with it. In other words, for you to decide the use that you want to make of the machine. And the second thing is, no matter what the salesman tells you, insist that you see the machine do it right there. In other words, it's very common for somebody to say, oh yes, you wanted to do this, that, and the other. It will next month. This is a wonderful machine, and they're soon going to have a new Verschlagener Humpsa-Dump that you stick on it, and it's only $15, and it'll come to you, and da-da-da. Don't buy it. If it doesn't do it right there in front of you, don't get it.
Well,
And
that's
you'll be
good
fine.
advice. It's called Electronic Life, and it's by a very bright young man known as Michael Crichton. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll come back after this message.